Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
So Kim Min-Jae, right? He's been one of the standout new signings in Serie A so far this season. He joined Napoli this summer. So as what we do with every single week, we do a profile of a Serie A player. So Nima, do you want to tell us all about Kim Min-Jae?
Well, yes, he's an interesting player. He was born in Tongyong in South Korea. Both parents are former athletes. His brother was also a footballer. He played as a goalkeeper for Myongji University. He played in China for a few years. He started in South University of Yonsei as a youth player. And after a few seasons, he went to China, where he played for 2 years, Beijing Guan, before he moved over to Fenerbahce. And obviously, he went to Fenerbahce for about 4 million euros, and then they sold him to Napoli for 19, which all you Plusvalenza fans can be able to count out how much of a incredible Plusvalenza that is. He's nicknamed the Monster because he has a very imposing physique. He's 190 centimeters tall. He weighs about 86 kilograms. And as you stated, I mean that's the part of his game that I find have been the most interesting this season for Napoli, as those statistics that you showed as well. You know, for aerial, for winning. Recoveries and ball recoveries and things like that. He's a physical player. He's not his weaknesses. He's not the best, maybe the best passer of the ball, and especially if you compare it to someone like Kalidou Koulibaly, who was probably one of the best central defenders in the world for that. That's something that he's not been able to fully replace Koulibaly as, but physically in the air, winning the ball, his physical presence, imposing himself on attackers, he's completely replaced Koulibaly. And he's he does charity as well. In 2021 he donated 50 million won, which is it's about 37,000 euros, to a foundation which helps with children with disabilities in all of South Korea.
That's great. That's beautiful. That is somebody that is fantastic on the pitch and fantastic off it. And yeah, the way that he's replaced Koulibaly this summer has been. I mean, he couldn't have been a better replacement, could he? I mean, there are a lot of question marks this beginning of this season about Napoli because they'd lost so many leaders and stars of their team. Koulibaly being the leader of the defence, then Lorenzo Insigne, the hometown boy, the star man, Mertens, the all-time top scorer. Fabian Ruiz, their classy midfielder. Ospina as well, their first choice goalkeeper. I mean, they lost 4.5, first team players. And, so there was a lot of question marks. Players that have come in have done amazingly well. And Kim Min-Jae has been, I mean, Napoli haven't missed Koulibaly yet, have they? Let's be honest. I mean,
no, they haven't. That's the thing. Him and Rahmani, I think that's so interesting because, well, given that they play a 4-3-3 now, and given how Lobotka and Anguissa and Zielinski, the three of them have really dominated the midfield whenever they've played, it's made up for Koulibaly, not having a central defender that makes that all-important first pass, because they play differently. They don't need that. Obviously, that's something that if he could develop that aspect of his game as well, Kim Min-Jae, we're talking about a complete central defender. But he's not there yet, and I wonder if he ever will be. But I don't think he's. I mean, at this Napoli side, I don't think he's really needed to. I understand why Man United are looking at him, because I think next to Varane, who is a good ball-playing defender, he would do really well. And another thing as well, I've read somewhere that his idol is also Sergio Ramos. So that's interesting as well.
Yeah, the concern for Napoli is that I believe that he does have a release clause in his Napoli contract that comes into effect at the end of the season. Obviously, you never know 100% what the release clauses are, but I think it is around about 45-50 million euros, which obviously for a team like Man United or a Premier League team, it's easy money, peanuts for these kind of clubs. So, there is that concern, but I mean, right now, I don't think Napoli will worry about it too much. And if in the new year things are going well, maybe they can get him on a new contract and maybe increase that release clause. But right now, he's been an absolute monster, and he seems to have settled in also as well with it in the dressing room. You don't get too many players from South Korea coming to Europe and really excelling. And he definitely is. I think he had his initiation. I remember he really set off the whole dressing room, didn't he?
When he was doing Gangnam Style.
That
was the Gangnam Style rap that he did.
Yeah, he was really getting into it, wasn't he? Yeah. So he seems like a really good guy as well. He seems like a really good person. When we saw, like you mentioned there, his work that he's done, charity work and everything with the disabled. I mean, that given something back to those less fortunate. I mean, he obviously, that says a lot, doesn't it, about who he is.
Listen to the full show and all other episodes by going to patreon.com/TIFP and become a member for only $2.99 per month.